All right. What's up, Tackle Warehouse fans? Today we're doing a look back. It's myself, Jake, here with Corey, and we're gonna do a look back on ICAST, the 2023 ICAST, kind of the stuff that we were excited about. You know, the stuff that the big hitters, the best sellers, all that kind of stuff. You know, let's talk about. We're in ICAST season.
ICAST is here.
Yeah, I mean we're already working on it, and so we're in ICAST season. We're going to talk about last year's ICAST, kind of some of the stuff that came out. Kind of get excited about this year's ICAST.
For sure.
What's going to be coming around. But the first, a couple things we want to talk about. Like what were some of the themes last year, 2023? You were out there. I mean, we were both out there, but hands on filming all the videos, like. There was definitely some themes out there. Which ones did you see that stood out the most?
I mean, I think the big stuff right away was the live scope based stuff, and also like the new, a lot of live stuff, a lot of forward facing stuff with live scope with that, and then trolling motors to kind of fit along those things. A lot of what I don't want to say JDM improvised inspired baits, you could say. I guess that was to be a big picture, and definitely caused a lot of conversations, I guess, through and around ICAST, even after ICAST, and a little headaches for us internally too with our customers and whatnot. People got a little frustrated with some of the stuff that came out.
They definitely stirred the pot a little bit. Yeah. So they're stirring the pot with the JDM baits. Also, tons of BFS stuff. Which is a huge, growing, popular technique in the bass fishing industry. Growing more every year, and just more and more of that stuff coming to the market. Also, the poop baits.
Yeah, got a little there. Can we say that? I don't know, can we?
It did.
We just did, I guess.
Yeah. Tons of those out there this year. So a bunch of those, and a whole nother, another category of baits that's just taken off, and lots of companies are coming out with those to add to their lineup.
And that's probably where it really was, right? There's a lot of newer categories that kind of been showing themselves the last year or two that really kind of came on the scene and kind of really started just taking off, and kind of it became the show. Was those few categories took over the whole entire show. Yeah, I
mean totally. And some of those, ended up making it into our top sellers list. And we pulled some of that data. And surprising, some of them, no surprise. Some of the top sellers that were on there, but some of them, big surprise. I didn't know that we were pushing that many of them out the door.
Yeah, the Yamatanuki, by the way, Yamatanuki is a raccoon dog from Russia that is in Japan. That's where it came from, Tanuki. So, but that's their name for their poop style bait, or what category are we calling these baits, by the way? What are these?
I thought we classified them when you guys did the Meyer vlog. High density, soft plastic stick baits.
High density plastics was the PC term, but it is kind of, poop baits, where kind of they came from, or scat style baits, where they came from. But what blew me away was this is our best selling bait for all of ICAST new products, was this bait of all. I mean, for everything. Numbers, sales, and units. And you wouldn't think, it's a cool bait, but you don't hear a lot of guys doing it. To me, that says a lot of guys that are fishing it and not talking about it, because I hear a lot of guys doing it. But we're selling a ton of it, so people are doing it, just keeping it secret.
Yeah, not a lot of people talk about it. Yeah. But also, when Yamamoto comes with something to the market, if they're going to expand, everyone's going to try it out and be excited about it.
Yeah.
I mean, they just had another new worm come out, and you're getting another offering in Yamamoto with Yamamoto colors, so everyone's going to be stoked about it.
And so they were the first to market with it, but now they're the best selling in that category. That just shows you the power of Yamamoto and the quality of Yamamoto too, really.
Totally. One of the other ones on the top sellers, Shimano Curado, the new Curado M. I mean, this thing is sweet. I have not fished one yet, but our producer Chuck over here said this thing is mega smooth, tons of power. Just keep raising the bar on the Curado. I just sent I'm a huge Curado fan. I just sent a whole bunch of Curado E's to get serviced.
Generations ago.
Yeah, I have all the generations of Curado. I have from the E up. I've got them all, except I don't have one of these ones yet.
Chuck's got a few, apparently.
Yeah, he's got a few of them. But, no surprise there. The Curado, just a phenomenal series of reels. From tournament guys to weekend guys, it's just a tried and true, rock solid reel. Got them in all the gear ratios. Pretty much, you can if you had a lineup of those, you can pretty much handle every technique you'd want to with that.
One bait that kind of crossed all of the topics of ICAST really as far as the JDM inspirations, and swim baits were another big thing. Swim baits and glide baits were another big thing of the year. But that Nessie glide bait. Guys were saying this is what caused probably the most drama of all the stuff.
Totally.
Like it was drama, like phone calls being made, people getting yelled at. We were the worst company ever for carrying this stuff.
Yeah.
And guys said they would never buy this bait because it's a knockoff. Well, guess what? It's our number 3 selling bait from ICAST. So I'm guessing some of those guys that claimed they would never buy it have bought it because it's different. Like, glide baits are huge.
Yeah.
But now the soft glide bait is something different. Obviously, it's inspired by JDM bait. There's no doubting that. But it's they met the demand that those guys couldn't meet, and now everybody can get these baits, and they're clearly selling because we sold a ton of these guys.
Well, I mean, what's the price tag on those things? They're like, $12.99 or $20, something like that. And we generally keep a pretty good stock of them. So if you want to try it out, you can get your hands on one and try it out. And you're not out $80 or $90 on it as well.
Yeah, and you lose it, you're not crying, because that happens with those glide baits. I've casted a few off, as you guys know. Yeah, we know you've casted quite a few baits off. When we ever do the office knot wars, it's going to be fun to see where it stands. I'm going to crush that thing. Speaking of crushing.
Oh, well, there's Crush City stuff, but I was going to finish up the rest of some of the Berkeley stuff that we got. The little power stinger bait that was a huge hit last year, and then the little paddling power stinger, power stinger. That's a really cool bait. I just like that honeycomb design they did on that. Just something different. Mm-hmm. And I like how you get like that solid body feature on the front, and then you get that nice.
You get the durability, but you get the action.
Yeah,
all the same.
And because all of us, we fish tons of Kitex and other ring body style baits, that it holds up a little bit better having all that meat up there on the head of it. And then this is cool because they make it in all those different sizes, and you can use these down to panfish all the way to bass, and the live scope guys, whatever size color you need, that's going to be a huge deal for all that, for all the scoping. And
one bait we don't have here from them was, again, our top selling baits, again, the top 3, 4, 5, and 6 were all Berkeley baits. The Nessie, the Power Switch, and then that Coal Shad, which in those, that's crazy to have all swim baits, but also all for one brand. Yeah. Being 3 of our top 6 selling baits were all from that one brand.
They had to launch that Coal Shad early because all the Berkeley guys were throwing in the Classic, and they were crushing. Yeah. And we have to get this thing out for pre-order. So another bait that they did really, really well with. And like you said, leading into crushing, some of the Crush City stuff, another huge offering and super successful. they have they've got kind of a bunch of different offerings in their whole lineup, and kind of covers a bunch of different, the finesse stuff, the scopes, the swim baits, flipping baits. They got a bunch of stuff, and I know we got a bunch of samples last year, and so a bunch of the guys in the office fishing. Again, our producer Charlie said that he's ran through all of his samples and he's had to buy some. And one that I actually used, this little craw, which is the cleanup
craw.
Yeah, the cleanup craw. I was actually using this in that tournament with Joey, flipping this thing, and this thing is a sweet flipping bait because it's so compact and it slides through really well, and it has a lot of good action. But all the meat up there and the ribs on there, holds the flipping hook really well, and it's super durable up here and doesn't tear up that bad. Yeah. But one that I was pretty stoked about from the ICAST last year.
And the one that really drove the ship and got started was that Freeloader that he came out with.
Yeah.
And chatterbait trailer, live scope, the big one was live scope with it, but it is a great chatterbait trailer as well. And that's what really kind of drove the ship on the Crush City stuff. It was, again, just like the other stuff with the Berkeley stuff. It was not supposed to be released, but that he was doing so well on it, it came out early. And because we actually
had to.
We got to see this stuff way in advance for when we were doing some filming stuff with the guys, Rapala guys. And this was a really cool bait that we thought was cool, but we didn't think it'd be one that's going to be the one.
No,
and it was crazy.
I didn't think so either. But even in this year, I've seen Wheeler and Connell, throwing that thing all year, and how much stuff have they won or top 5 with that bait?
And multiple, drop shotting it, just a regular, just swimming it, just a chatterbait, all kinds of stuff. And one I was really like when we saw it was that Bronco. It's cool, It
is cool because
action it has,
it kind of goes a whole different way, the way it flips up and down. And I was trying to fish it in more non-traditional ways.
Yeah.
I tried it on a wobble head, and I should be throwing that thing on a Carolina rig or something because no one Carolina rigs anymore. And it's a cool flip bait too. Yeah. And then they got the little Ned bait, the Ned BLT, which is I mean, a couple years ago, that was the main trend at ICAST. Remember how everything was a Ned bait?
Nedcast.
Yeah, Nedcast. I believe that was 2 or 3 years ago, but it was all Ned baits. It was, Ned craws, Ned worms. Every company's got to have a Ned in the market just because we see how effective it is. It's just like the live scope stuff. You see how effective a technique is, and it takes over for a little while. But yeah, I mean, maybe people are forgetting about the Ned rig. Like how effective of a fish catcher this is.
And that's one thing. Again, comparing that, I guess you mentioned that the Ned to the live scope stuff. Like Ned started strictly just what Z-Man had. It was a Ned rig. That's all. It was a very basic bait. Wasn't much going on, but it's evolved to be more than just a single way to fish the bait. It's different ways. It's expanding. That's I think the forward facing sonar stuff too is going to expand more than it's beyond a minnow stuff, and it already is.
It will for sure. And the last one they had is the little swim bait they got, which is just a nice swim bait. Yeah. I like how they kind of flatten the head up so it matches up with a lead head really well. It's always kind of a bummer when you have something that just doesn't fit on a jig head and it doesn't have enough meat on there and it tears up. But this one actually
bite it or something.
Yeah, this one matches up really well. Super durable. And then they load those things with scent. Like my fingers are greasy from those things.
And that's the thing about those baits. You talking about that? Like that's what took them so long is. We and a lot of those guys have a lot of time into like exactly what they want in these baits. They spend a lot of time talking to those guys, perfecting these baits to every little thing for it's tournament ready. All the little things are dialed for those baits, and it shows. And it shows in the sales. That's what we're talking about. Our top sellers, out of our top 20 from ICAST, five of those were Crush City baits, and that's just insane.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, one brand, but also just one category of baits. New Crush City is that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and another brand we want to talk about, or they're always in the running for best baits, is the Z-Man stuff. Yeah. So they came out with the Evo last year. I didn't take this one out of the package, but
I can show the camera for you.
The Evo, this thing is sweet. So it comes in a little cheaper than you would have to pay for, like the jackhammer. But dude, the performance on these things are sweet, and they've kind of geared them towards that for running those elastics with that keeper on there. So I'm sure anyone who's ever tried to thread an elastic, trailer onto a hook, it's a pain.
It's not fun. No.
But once you get it on there, it's on there, and you're going to save a ton of money because, I mean, we all know how well elastic holds up. But man, what a great looking chatterbait! It's got the original blade on there, but they added a bunch of flake to those colors. But the colors on these, we had a bunch of them. Like we had a ton of the colors. They did really well on all the colors. Hand tied them, which is, I hate buying jigs and spinner baits and stuff that's not hand tied because I'm going to tear it up and I'm going to lose it, and I'm going to have to tie one on anyway. But they hand tied it for us, premium hook, and it's got like that O'Shaughnessy bend on there. But another one that one that stole the show last year for, I believe this one, it won something, right? Best hard bait or best something. I don't remember if it won something, but it's definitely like one of the best baits that we were pretty stoked about. Yeah, because you're getting a sweet chatterbait at a great price point.
I mean, you look at the original chatterbait, thinking the jackhammer and the RBait, we kind of were improving on the design a little bit, and this is kind of is their evolution, probably where Evo came from. I'm guessing the evolution of the chatterbait being kind of evolving to what they see as everything you need in a chatterbait, and I think they really nailed it. There's not much you can complain about with these that 5/0 hook on them and stuff like that. It's a cool bait, and it's and this is going to be, if not already, going to be a top seller, for in that category.
I'm sure it's on the bestseller page right now.
Yeah. Best freshwater hard lure.
Best freshwater hard lure did win something. I knew it, and
I knew it,
and I knew it. And then we also, just that holding that Z-Man stuff on there, which is always a nightmare with other types of trailers, but. Now that you can hold that Z-Man, you probably fish this, multiple days and not even have to change your trailer.
And it does have that wire keeper on there as well, too. It's got
so it's going to hold stuff on there super well. What other stuff did we see last year? Oh, one that was always a surprise. Oh no, the
scale. That was a big
Bubba
one.
Scale.
This
was a huge sale. I remember going by their booth. I went by multiple times and we couldn't even get into their booth. Yeah. There was so many people there the whole time. And everyone was fired up about this scale, but I haven't used one yet, but Charlie's used one, and he said this scale is the deal.
Yeah, it's one we use for shoots now. We go on shoots, it's the one we use. It's quality, but also for us to record the screen, you can easily see what's on the screen. That makes it a lot easier for us when trying to weigh fish on camera and stuff like that. It's huge.
I feel like everyone's had a problem with just about every scale that's been out there on the market, especially for tournaments when you're trying to cull fish, and Bubba that Bubba scale it just makes everything so much simpler and just doing that angle right there, so it's easy to read and just
easy to hold too.
The functionality of it is just phenomenal. So that was when they came out. I don't even think we can hardly keep those things in stock. Everyone's pretty pumped on those
Well,
things.
it's hands down our best selling in that category, and electronics in general. Even when we look at our digital marketing stuff, that's always up there for like most searched thing coming in to tackle is that bad boy right there.
People want that scale.
Yeah.
It's sweet. But yeah, one thing I was gonna say that we're always waiting for it to happen is especially me and you, lefties.
Yeah, team lefty.
We've been
smart guys.
We've been waiting for somebody else to come to the market with a 500 size low profile. Now, not everyone needs a 500. I mean, you're not going to use this for most bass applications, but for sure, muskie, pike, all that stuff, and then everyone who's doing inshore stuff, a 500. Another 500 low profile reel on the market, and Daiwa came out with that Alexa 500 HD. When we were filming last year, I asked the guys, like, are you guys ever going to make a 500?
Yeah.
And they said, it's going to come someday. You know, they didn't give us like a hard date. And since they said they were going to do it, and I asked, are you going to make it in left? And he said, yes, they'll make it in left.
That was huge.
And yeah, huge. So this one came out at the Classic. So technically on the ICAST release, but we did find out about it at ICAST. And they got it in left. But if the Daiwa guys are watching, the lefties would like another gear ratio. We would like
please,
more, please. Make us the 5-to-1, please.
Yeah, I ordered the 400 right before that because I needed one for. I wanted one.
Yeah.
For throwing irons and stuff like that. But I really wanted the 500. But
Yeah.
that we didn't have one. Literally the day I got it in, guess what? You go, hey, by the way, the 500s are coming. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
So now I got 500s.
I already had mine on pre-order. I was in the front
thanks
of the
for the
line.
heads up there, homie. Yeah, appreciate it.
You always screw me anyway.
Oh, come on.
So yeah, I got one of the first ones that came in. I actually got it spooled yesterday.
Yeah.
Filled it up with 80 pound, and I think it was an 80 pound little piece of floor on the end for this tuna trip we're going on. But the big ones that they're catching, I don't want anything to do with the 200 pounder on a low profile reel. But I'm pretty.
I want to see that.
I'm pretty excited to use that thing this year. I've been waiting for a long time, especially for the popper season. So I'm pretty stoked that finally got that thing.
Real quick, just looking at some of our top sellers, or at least our top 10. The Evo was in like we talked about, but to go with it was that chatter spike that pairs up with it, and that was up there. I think it was our number 8.
I forgot about the chatter spike.
There's number 8 selling one, and one that snuck in there at number 10, which is kind of a surprise, not because it's awesome bait, but most of these baits in the top 10 are all big brands, a lot of money behind marketing money. But Dirty Jig's Compact Swim Jig, that was our number 10 selling bait from ICAST.
Can't believe that.
And that's it's awesome bait. But it just for a company of that size to really move that many jigs, that's really cool.
Well, I think Dirty Jigs has just established themselves as as kind of a gold standard of jigs.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started working here, you're always packing Dirty Jigs. They don't even think they had many guys on the pro staff, and no one really talked about it, but people knew, and they're buying Dirty Jigs. Yeah. And I packed a lot of orders for a lot of pros of Dirty Jigs. Yeah.
So and Brooks kills her. Brooks crushes.
Yeah, Brooks does crush it. He's an ICAST MVP every year. We love that guy. Yeah. Brooks over at Dirty Jigs and Nichols Lures, always super solid. Always got cool stuff coming out. But I guess that wraps up our look back at last year's ICAST. But we want to let everyone know, we're going to do another video teasing the 2024 ICAST, a little bit of a sneak peek at some things that are coming out that we can kind of disclose a few details. So make sure to look out for that video.
Check it out, guys. Secret's coming.